You're in a meeting. Someone asks for your opinion. You know what you want to say, but the words don't come out the way you want, so you keep it short. You nod a lot. And after the meeting, you think, I should have said more.
Yeah, I've been in that exact meeting multiple times. And the frustrating thing is, it's not because you don't know English, you do. It just doesn't feel fast enough yet.
Exactly. And that's what today is about. Not grammar, not vocabulary lists, 5 specific habits that actually help you speak more naturally at work. Habits you can start this week.
Welcome to Say It in English. I'm Tom.
And I'm Lexi. And today we're talking about something really specific. Not how to study English, how to actually use it at work, in real time, with real people.
Right, and that gap is so relatable. You've studied English for years, you can read emails, understand the presentation, but someone asks you a question in a meeting and your brain just freezes.
Mm-hmm. And that freeze, it's not a knowledge problem. It's a speed problem. Your English is there, but the habit of using it quickly and smoothly just takes practice in a specific way.
And that's exactly what these 5 habits are designed to fix. Not in 6 months, like starting this week. Small things that compound over time.
And the best part? None of these require you to sit down and study. They fit into things you're already doing. Meetings, messages, calls. The workplace becomes your practice space.
Which honestly is how it should work. All right, let's get into it.
Here's what we're going to cover today. 5 habits, each tied to a real moment at work. Habit 1, how to shadow phrases from real conversations. Habit 2, what to say when you need a second to think. Habit 3, a simple technique that makes you sound more engaged. Habit 4, how to build your own personal phrase bank. And habit 5, one thing to do before you use a new phrase for the first time.
And for each habit, we'll show you exactly what it sounds like. Not just a theory, the actual words.
Okay, habit 1, shadowing. And I want to be clear about what shadowing actually means here, because it's not what most people think.
Right, yeah, most people hear shadowing and think, find the video, pause it, repeat every sentence, spend an hour doing it. That sounds exhausting.
Exactly. What we mean is micro-shadowing. You hear a phrase in a real meeting that sounds natural, and you repeat it quietly to yourself right then, or write it down and say it out loud later that day. That's it.
Okay, so why does that work? Like, why is it better than just reading a phrase in a textbook?
Because you heard it in context. You know the situation, the tone, the rhythm. That combination, context plus sound plus rhythm, it sticks in your memory differently than reading words on a page.
So what does this actually look like in a meeting?
Let's loop Alina in on this. Let's loop her in. I'll loop you in. Done. That's the habit.
And then next time you need to include someone in a conversation, it's right there, ready.
Exactly. And once you start listening for it, you hear it everywhere. That's the magic. Your ear gets tuned in. The ready-to-use phrases from this habit, let's loop you in. Can we take this offline? Meaning, let's talk separately, not in front of the whole group. And let's circle back on that. Meaning, let's return to this topic later.
Those 3 phrases alone would get you through half of any team meeting. All right, habit 2. This one I feel like I needed 10 years ago.
Habit 2 is use a thinking phrase when you need a moment. These are also called bridge phrases. A bridge phrase is a short sentence you say while your brain is catching up. It keeps the conversation going without making you look lost.
Right, because the silence while you're thinking, that can feel really uncomfortable. And it makes you rush to say something which makes it worse.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Native speakers use bridge phrases constantly. They're not a sign that you don't know something. They're a sign that you're thinking carefully, which is actually a good quality in a professional.
So what do these phrases actually sound like in a real moment?
Okay, let's say someone asks you in a meeting, what do you think we should prioritize next quarter? Instead of going silent, you say, That's a great point. Let me think about that for a second. Or, good question. So, from our team side, and then you continue. The bridge phrase bought you the time you needed.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying I don't need to have the perfect sentence ready? I just need a bridge phrase to get started?
That's exactly it. The bridge phrase is the habit. The rest follows. Once you start speaking, even imperfectly, your brain relaxes and the words come. The hard part is just opening your mouth. The bridge phrase does that for you.
That's actually a really useful way to think about it. So the ready-to-use phrases here.
That's a great point. Let me think about that for a second. Good question. So, from my perspective, if I understand the question correctly, space.
Love that. Okay, habit 3. The repeat back technique. This one sounds simple, but it's surprisingly powerful.
It is. Here's the trick. When you repeat back what someone said before adding your view, you're not just buying time, you're showing them you listened. And that matters as much as what you say next.
Right. So instead of jumping straight to your answer, you reflect their point back first, in your own words.
Exactly. And it works in two directions. First, it buys you time, just like a bridge phrase. But second, and this is the part people miss, it builds trust. When someone feels heard, they are more open to what you say next.
Okay, so what does this sound like in practice?
Let's say your colleague says, I think we need to move the launch date to next month. Instead of immediately agreeing or disagreeing, you say, so if I understand correctly, you're suggesting we push the launch back? Then you add your view. That makes sense. I think the main thing we'd need to adjust is the marketing schedule.
And that sounds way more confident than just saying, yes, I agree, or staying quiet.
Completely. The ready-to-use phrase is here. So if I understand correctly, you're saying, just to make sure I'm following, you mean, and so your point is that try one of those in your next meeting. You'll feel the difference immediately.
Okay, habit 4. And this one is my personal favorite. Your personal phrase bank.
Tell them about your phrase bank, Tom.
Okay, real talk. I kept a little notes app on my phone for exactly this. Phrases I heard in meetings that I liked, and I never told anyone.
I love that. Secret phrase collector.
Exactly. And honestly, it made a big difference because instead of trying to remember phrases in the moment, I had a personal library. Phrases I actually heard used correctly in real situations.
And that's the habit. Not a textbook vocabulary list, your own collection based on phrases that came up in your specific job, your team, your type of meetings, because different industries use different language.
Right. A lawyer's phrase bank is very different from a marketer's phrase bank.
Exactly. Here's how to build it without it feeling like homework. One simple rule. When you hear a phrase that sounds natural and useful, write it down. Just the phrase and the situation you heard it in. That's it. Review it once a week for 5 minutes. Say each phrase out loud when you do.
The 5-minute review is key. You're not studying, you're just keeping the phrases warm in your memory.
Perfectly put. And this habit connects to habit 1 because the phrases you shadow can go straight into your phrase bank. They build on each other.
Nice. Okay, final habit. Habit 5. And this one is short, but really important.
Habit 5. Rehearse one phrase out loud before you use it live. This is the step most people skip, and it's the reason phrases feel awkward when you say them for the first time in front of someone.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between knowing a phrase and being comfortable saying it. Like, I can read, let's touch base next week, no problem. But actually saying it in a real conversation felt weird the first few times.
Right, because your mouth isn't used to it yet. The rhythm and speed need a dry run. So the habit is simple. Before your next meeting, pick one phrase you want to use. Say it out loud 3 times, in a complete sentence, in the car, in the bathroom, wherever.
The bathroom before a meeting is underrated practice space, honestly.
Completely underrated, but it works. And once you say a phrase out loud a few times before you need it, it comes out naturally when you actually use it. It doesn't feel borrowed anymore. It feels like yours.
So the ready-to-use tip for habit 5 is 1 phrase, 1 meeting, 3 rehearsals. Pick something from your phrase bank, say it 3 times before you walk in, and use it once during the meeting.
That's it. Small commitment, big payoff over time. Let's put all 5 habits together now and see what it looks like in one real moment at work.
Right. Let's see all 5 habits in action together. Our character is Marcos, a non-native English speaker on a cross-functional team. He has a weekly Monday check-in call.
Before the call, Marcos opens his phrase bank and picks one phrase to use today, just to make sure I'm following you correctly. He says it out loud 3 times while making coffee. Habit 5, done.
The call starts. His manager says, "We need to think about whether we should shift our Q3 focus to the enterprise clients." Marcos needs a second, so he says, "Good question. So, from my perspective," habit 2. Then he uses the phrase he rehearsed, "Just to make sure I'm following you correctly, you're suggesting we prioritize larger accounts next quarter." His manager says, "Exactly." Marcos adds his view, "That makes sense. I think we need to loop in the sales team early to align on targets." Habit 1, he shadowed loop in 2 weeks ago. Later in the call, someone asks for an update he hasn't fully prepared for. He says, "Let me come back to that in just a moment. I want to give you accurate numbers." Habit 2 again. And afterward, he notes that phrase in his bank. Habit 4, in real time.
By the end of that call, Marcos spoke clearly, showed he was listening, bought time when he needed it, and used a phrase he'd been building toward. Nobody in that meeting knew he'd practiced it in the bathroom before the call. That's what habits do. They make good performance look effortless.
All right, let's do the recap. Take us home, Lexi.
5 habits. Shadow real phrases from real meetings. Use a thinking phrase when you need a moment. Repeat back before you add your view. Keep a personal phrase bank. And rehearse one phrase out loud before you use it live. That's it. Nothing complicated.
None of these habits take more than a few minutes a day, but they stack. 1 phrase this week becomes 5 next month, and at some point, you stop translating in your head. You just speak.
That's the goal. Not perfection, just fluency. That feeling where the words come when you need them, so you can focus on your ideas instead of worrying about the language.
Before we sign off, one tool that's genuinely great for the shadowing habit.
If you want to practice the shadowing habit we talked about today, try YouGlish. It's free and it lets you hear any phrase spoken by real people in real videos.
We're not sponsored by YouGlish. We just genuinely think it's one of the best free tools out there.
And now, a question for you. Think about your last meeting at work. Was there a moment where you held back, even though you knew what you wanted to say? Tell us about it in the comments. What habit from today do you think would have helped?
We read every comment, genuinely. If you want more episodes like this, hit subscribe so you never miss a new one. We drop new content every week.
Thank you for listening today. Learning a language as an adult in a professional environment, that takes real courage. Every meeting where you show up and try is a win. Keep going.
We'll see you in the next one.
See you there.